Monday, May 24th, 2021. It's 5:11 a.m. So after the last few sessions, we attempted to trade lower. As we can see in this high volume node, one of the highest volume areas of recent price, we came down and tested this low volume area here right down into this other part of the value area here and rejected, and now we've pushed up, coming back down up into balance in this area, is up here again. The Sunday and overnight session, we rejected these lows, and we have come all the way back up. We have come up above Friday's value area high and the range, so we are likely to be opening above yesterday's value and range, but we are also kind of still in this value area, so the upper side, the upper edge of this balance from the last several days, we'll be testing back up into last Tuesday's value area low, and upside target definitely could be up into this naked VPOC from Tuesday. Downside targets are anywhere here in Friday's value area high and then the top side of value and range. I just talked myself out of this trade and long here. We had a small test of these lows and an imbalance, small imbalance up here, and then to trade back to this volume. So this is what I saw after we put in this new low. Not a very good low either. It didn't have the look of a good failure of any kind, but then we had this small imbalance up, which to me was a clue. And then I had an order placed at 50 here, and I pulled it looking at, well, this low is not strong at all, and we also are testing, we would be trading right back into this trouble at 56, so that I pulled my order at that point. But so now I'm trying to think, based on the outcome of that, was a pretty valid idea, or, I mean, the outcome says yes, but I'd like to go over this again with somebody and see if it was a good pass based on my expectations or with the issues of the trade. I did like that it had come down and tested below this swing low here, taken out and failed this area from earlier. Decided to take a short here. Expectation was to hold this volume from below, and we came down and put down this double top, or this bottom, this double bottom here, and my expectation is for all this to go here. But now and I'm going to put my target down here. Not real comfortable for me, being that we spiked up and didn't hold the volume, and now I definitely could see this, but as I'm trying not to manage my trade ideas too tightly, take risk off, I'm going to let this play out. But being that we came one tick from my stop here, I wouldn't be surprised if I get taken out and push higher here, which looks like I am going to get taken out right here for a loss. Yep, that's 10 ticks loss right there. I'm stubborn short again at 42, and had this little small imbalance down and this high volume coming in here. Now this is fairly aggressive, being that we are only about 5 minutes from the open, so I am going to manage this pretty tightly just because of the increased volatility coming in. So we'll see what happens. We're sitting right at my entry, which is not comfortable at all, but I need this volume to hold, and we'll see if we can get a nice little push through. Really nailing it today. That's another full loss. And looking at the low that was put in here, we had an imbalance up, and then now we'd had tested this trouble here up into the the 50. So could definitely see higher prices as well. And then when we came down and tested into this volume and rejected, it didn't make much sense to be short there. But not a very good start to the day. I couldn't have been more wrong on this idea. I really am not sure what I was thinking. And here we are up to 64.85, almost the 90. The suckers here were obviously the trap shorts, which included me. But after this imbalance push up, we double topped this here. The issue was for the longs coming into this trouble here, but that was tested on my second short here. And being that this high volume area that I had marked here was holding, we pushed above. We had this imbalance above here, so that wasn't good for any shorts. Came down, and to me, at the time I had seen this push down below this volume as a failure, but then again we had this imbalance up through, held it from above, move, and then now this was the test of that trouble, so any longs here are now valid. Never got back below this, and I was short, and then just the rip higher, all this into the I mean, couldn't have been more wrong. 39 was the low of the move, and I believe I was short at 39 one time, and my second attempt was 42 at 653. Let's see how bad that was. 653. Here was my second short. So really can't get much worse than that. Grabbed a long off of this area when the push back into this balance here, and we had a nice increase in volume here, and I entered on this volume here at the 55, a nice imbalance, push up higher. Target was in the 77, and I didn't get the 77, and when we pulled back here, I locked in 14 ticks here at 69 and got taken out, and unfortunately there's my 24 tick target right there being hit now. Expectation would be for this all to get taken out. Lots of absorption here, real high volume here at the highs, but not really the highest unfair price here at the highs either. So this could definitely get taken out, and there's a lot of room to move higher. I talked about that naked point of control above, but all of this in the short term, the 65.10 area, any of this is good to the upside. So starting out pretty bad on the morning, I was happy to take a win here, but the 20 would have been, to hold that, but there's a lot of space off of this imbalance. I wanted to see this area hold, and when we push down into here, this could have definitely come all the way back down to this low volume area at 59, and that puts me basically back at break even. And now here we are pushing up into this area. I expect this to go, and then for this overnight high to go. So we'll see if I can find another opportunity, but I'd like to talk a little bit about my management of this trade, and maybe again it's about outcome, but where I locked in the 14, there was really nothing here again other than trying to hold these bar highs here, but that was completely arbitrary, just trying to lock in something, trying not to lose. But the 77, at least when it pushed to 76, I got a little bit concerned because that's into this fresh supply here, untested supply. So you can see this was my target that I discussed to the long side much earlier, this 65.10, and that's where we've come to. So if I was going to wait for a break of this area, of this supply here, and then to break the overnight high, that 65.10 would have been a very likely area to target. So for me, that would have been about 55 ticks on that trade. Instead, I took 14, not even close to offsetting my 2 full losses. So I'm sitting at -6 on the day. So now I'm thinking, where is the opportunity? Trying to find where that might exist here. These bar highs here and that 65.10 untested lows here. This is also a low volume area, and then so in here we have value followed by low volume area, a likely price reaction into this area. So I'll be watching this pretty closely. I want to see if we are going to fall back into balance here, and then I might be open to a aggressive short context to fill in and trade back into this structure at the 64.90 where the overnight high. But again, that would be counter context and pretty aggressive. Or we want to see what happens when, as we trade here, especially with this really, really large volume coming in here, see what happens in this area. And if we can hold this area and have some kind of failure, we could look for a further expansion move higher. And that's what I'm seeing, and that would be my expectation. The issue with getting into any long trades here, I mean, there's just a ton of space here. We could easily fall back into this structure, the top side of this balance here, and also this all the way down from the 50 where I grabbed the long. The 70s here, even the 50s, all this could fill back in. Took a long off of the concept of these highs being extremely weak here, and we had a low tick here on very large volume, this here, and a small imbalance up, looking for us to move back up into this this high tick here, 64 possibly, but at least to break this 36. So that would have been my over 20 tick target on that, and then into this high tick at 61 would have been another great target. But I took a 7 tick loss. I am long from 65.07. We had tested up into down into these lows here, and nice compression. And it's not the best low for sure, but the way it was trading came down under this low. This compression here couldn't trade lower, and then came down back to the 65 round number, and then this compression here and a small imbalance up. So I put my order in at 07, just right above this volume area, looking to break all of this, because I mean the high is very weak, and I'm looking to target 37. If I can get a 20 or 30 in there, that would be a great trade. 61, I really do see that as a likely stop of this high tick here and this low volume node up here. But we'll see what happens when we get up into this 37 and how that reacts. But I'll be looking to lock in that 20 pretty quickly of a break of the highs. And we'll see how this trades. I will let this record just for a little bit, just because now we're seeing a lot of volume coming in here, but I'm looking for this flush, and that's going there. So I still don't even have my risk off, so I got to manage that. And there's the 30 gone. So I'll see how this, no real, I mean, there's a real large volume coming in now, so I don't want to let this come all the way back, but let's see if we can flush up to that 37 number. But we're getting stuck here, but there's some real large volume at the 24, 25 area. But let's see if we can flush this thing. We got, you can see, I mean, 600, 700, 800 contracts there at the high, so that's kind of showing a signal that it's accepting price there. So there's the flush, and I'm going to be looking to have I'm locking in 20 here, and let's see if we can get that last little push to 37. Looks like I'm probably going to get taken out here though. If we can stay above this high volume node here, then that will be good, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. I'm probably going to take 20 here, which is all right. And I just got taken out for plus 20. So we moved to 34 was the high of this little move. Lots of volume traded. At 65.30, over 1,000 contracts. So some real large activity. Now I would expect to test the upper side of value here, coming back down to where that last price was before the imbalance. So that's meeting expectation, but again, if I can get a 20 tick win, I will lock that in. And there's definitely some issues for the trade above. You can see on the 15-minute, we came right to this little swing high here. So exactly to the tick. I was looking for that to flush though, and then to get up into, that was coincided with my 37 target. I didn't get anything else, so I'm going to call it a day. It's 10:45, and here we are up to the point of control, this naked VPOC up into this low volume area. So it would have been a great long trade up into that area, but oh well. Overall, ended the day +7 with 3 losses and 2 wins.